The nukes will remain tactical. They won't do the mutually assured destruction thing. It's just too bad for business. But the businessmen know climate change is inevitable, and they could really buy themselves quite a few decades if they just give humanity a little haircut. You think the tree of liberty needs to be watered with blood? Try the orchard of industry, bud. I bet if we could cut us down by 1 billion or so, that'd really make some space for the coming migration issues, you know, when the world has to deal with all those equatorial cities becoming too hot to live in, with the 279 million people living around the beltline of the world when they gotta push themselves into new homes. Their displacement will be extremely profitable as well, by the way. We're gonna cash in on both ends. First in arms production, prisoner transport, and general law enforcement support activities like surveillance and privatized manpower. And then in the labor colonies, we operate in the wasted global south. I'm unsure if this will be my fate, at which phase of the new order I will be included in the ever-widening definitions of queer, but I bet I could be included in some degenerate roundups within the next 7 years. Perhaps they will use me for one of the various temp positions in the wastes of Iran or Taiwan or, I don't know, Culiacan maybe? Temp, not because of any sort of sentence to serve, but because everyone dies there from, you know, the radiation. No, I do not think we will do the mutually assured destruction thing. I think that fear is a relic of the 80s, something from a previous, more idealistic era, a time where we truly believe the pitted enemies of the world fell simply and earnestly along lines of national identity. I think only a child would think that now. I think it's fairly clear now that the us and them isn't something as silly as the Americans and the Russians or the Christians and the Muslims. We maybe get a little closer if we split the binary labels as the communists and the fascists, or I'm sorry, capitalists, as they prefer to be known since the quote-unquote fall of the Third Reich. Now, the colonists and the colonized perhaps starts to hold a little more ring of truth, but only if you really recognize how endemic the system of colonization is. Because the colonized are all of us who are normal human beings. We are all grist for the mill of the fuckers making money off of it. Say what you will, but the demons ruling over us at least used to have some pretty grandiose notions. Operatic insanity to go with their plotting cruelty. Now it's just make the line go up. Lubricate the gears of the currency printer with human beings. We're all the wretched of the earth. You think they hate the poor in their own cities any less than the poor overseas? Maybe for the optics, but let's be real. The notions of human beings with human aspirations, you know what I mean, I'm always repeating myself, you know, just hanging out, laughing in safety, eating yummy things with people you love, people whose aspirations for life end there. Fucking disgusting. I think it makes them really mad on some level, or maybe horny. The way a 30-something youth group leader is horny for his favorite female pupil just finally turning 19. 19 because 18 would make the grooming way too obvious. I'm off on a tangent again. My point is, we're gonna see the nukes, and they're gonna get more normal. But not the kind of like ending the whole world sort of nukes. Of course not. That's just not useful at all. But having your own little Death Star power? Whew, sorry babe. The hand of God is just too valuable not to use anymore. Command over a market force like that, a crash on demand, just too good. The lines of communication are good enough now, the market's networked well enough, the various infernal entities operating on Earth in the open, aligned and in accord. As Nelson said to Lisa when she asked about his Nuke the Whales poster, gotta nuke someone. We had some nice test cases with Chernobyl and Fukushima. What's one more source of cancer in the world? That's a tidy source of profit in itself, by the way, and it'll work itself out in the quarterly projections. And you know, I think that hammer of divinity will hold a lot of godly persuasion for people. I think we'll have a subconscious effect on the populace. We will step further into our new age caliphate of the dollar. The religious order of things will get harsher and more socially embraced. The power of the Lord in the hands of our leaders seems its own self-evident approval from on high, doesn't it? They're not oligarchs, they're bishops. The Pope is a businessman. Not unlike the faith leader we've allegedly elected to office again. And the religion of profit might not have the majority of human beings willingly tithing, but we sure pay up because what the fuck else are we gonna do? They've got all the Templars, they've got the hand of God. The crusade they wage is on us.